took this book out in 1971.
Yes, and I returned it in 1971.
Yeah, 71. That was my first year on the job. Bad year for libraries. Bad year for America. Hippies burning library cards. Abby Huffman telling everybody to steal books. I don't judge a man by the length of his hair or the kind of music he listens to. Rock was never my bag. But you put on a pair of shoes when you walk into the New York Public Library, fella.
Oh, just over the goal line of the Cowboys. Dorsett, single setback. Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed.
99 yards and a half.
Dorsett down the sideline. Stays in bounds.
Can you believe that?
Short, because 99 yards.
Short yardage defense, all bunched up. And that's the 99.5-yard run, I think, is the longest run in the history of the league.
It is.
And suddenly the whole momentum changes. But
let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I go to mybookie.ag. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay you when you win. Look, I wouldn't be telling you to bet mybookie.ag if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag. Promo code SKIN. That's SKIN. When you use that promo code, MyBookie will match 100% of your deposit up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SKIN.
6 rounds. TJ, host from Mizzou. Yes, lock it up.
Who?
What? TJ, how's your vanilla? All right. TJ, who's your mama?
You mean TJ Hushmanzada from the Bengals?
Put him on the board. House Missouri. Got it. Championship.
Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Tennessee football time.
Armchair.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Get your morning started off right. Weekdays with the Armchair Quarterbacks. Riding shotgun with you wherever you're heading.
Good morning. Hello, and how are you? Early in the morning, I say good morning. Hello, and how are you?
Armchair.
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've worked for you a long time, and I'm paid less than Robin. Same job, same employer means equal pay for men and women.
No time for jokes, Batgirl.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Madison Bumgarner made Major League Baseball history on Sunday, achieving the first 7-inning no-hitter in a doubleheader shortened game on Sunday against the Atlanta Braves. The doubleheader swept Atlanta after Zach Gallen threw a one-hitter to win the opener 5-0. 14 innings pitched by the Diamondbacks' 2 starters, allowing just 1 hit and no runs. Bumgarner struck out 7, and the only Braves batter who reached base against him came on shortstop's Nick Ahmed's throwing error in the 2nd inning. Nick Ahmed is an ex-Atlanta Brave. The 1 hit across the 2 combined games meant the Braves amassed the fewest in a doubleheader in Major League Baseball history, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. The previous fewest was 2 hits by Cleveland against the Red Sox on April 12th, 1992, albeit those would have been 2 9-inning ball games. Officially, Bumgarner's gem won't be counted in the list of no-hitters. Major League Baseball's 8-man Committee on Statistical Accuracy decided in 1991 that a no-hitter was a game of 9 or more innings that ended with no hits. Jeff Passan of ESPN argued on Twitter Sunday that it should be counted as a no-hitter. Atlanta's only hit on Sunday was a clean single to right field by Freddie Freeman in game number 1. Also on Sunday, the Oakland A's 13-game winning streak came to an end as Austin Hayes hit a pair of home runs and starter John Means had a stellar performance as the Orioles beat the Athletics 8-1. Oakland won 14 in a row in 1988 and then an AL record of 20 consecutive wins in 2002. Hayes gave the Orioles the lead with a solo shot to center in the 2nd, while Ramon Laureano tied it in the 4th when he homered into the Baltimore bullpen. Hayes answered in the bottom half with an opposite field shot that gave Baltimore a 3-1 lead, one they would not relinquish in his 2nd multi-homer game of the 25-year-old young phenom's career. Looking ahead to today, we've got quite a slate in Major League Baseball. It all begins at 1:10 p.m. Brad Keller and Spencer Turnbull go head-to-head as the Royals are in Detroit. And tonight, the Cubs head to Atlanta for a 4-game set, Zach Davies against Charlie Morton. First pitch, 7 o'clock on ESPN. At 7:45, the Phillies and Cardinals play for the 34th time in 12 days. At 6 o'clock, the Twins invade Cleveland. It's Jose Barrios versus Zach Plesac. At 10:10, the Reds are in LA to take on the Dodgers. It's Tyler Mahle versus Julio Urias. While in the NBA, on NBA TV, you got a doubleheader. 7:30 Eastern, the Phoenix Suns are at the New York Knicks. And at 10 o'clock, it's the Mavs at Kings. Other games of interest, the Lake Show is in Orlando at 7 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, it's the Bulls versus the Heat, while the Clippers and Pelicans take the court at 8 Eastern. And in the National Hockey League, at 8 Eastern, the Florida Panthers are in Nashville to take on the Predators. While on NBC Sports at 7:30, the puck drops between the Hurricanes and the Stars. And ESPN Plus has the Ducks and Kings battling on at 10 p.m. Eastern. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. I wouldn't be the great friend I am without putting my friend Chard's 40th birthday on full blast. So there you go, folks. If you're part of the Crockett's crew, reach out and give our friend some love today.
Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. It wasn't a no-hitter, Arizona. You can try to weasel your way into it and say that it was and dance around on the field. That was just a shutout. It was a hell of a pitch 7-inning performance, but that wasn't a damn no-hitter. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Cassandra! Cassandra! We have to talk.
I don't want to talk to you.
Cassandra, I set up an audition for you and your band. I'm putting my show back on the air. You've got to be on it. Wayne, go home. No, I'm not going anywhere. Cassandra, I love you. You may not believe it, but I love you. Am I supposed to just turn my back and leave? Am I supposed to be a man? Am I supposed to say, that's okay, I don't mind? I don't mind. Well, I mind. I mind big time. But you know what the worst part of all is? I never learned to read.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head.
Hey, howdy, hi, top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Mac McGee sitting alongside Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
Dehydrated, but hanging in there, man. What a great weekend. With the exception,
Excited on, huh?
oh yeah, you can't let a friend jump over into the world of the 40s and not walk him through the gate. You need some help in opening that door.
Are you not 40?
No, I'm practicing, so I know what to do when it turns my turn.
You're not 40? You look like hell. I'm just messing with you. I knew you weren't 40. I like setting people up.
No, this is the summer for 40 for the most of us.
Summer of love.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That was last year. Now it's the summer of regrets. That's cool. I'm assuming it was a house party or
regrets. Yeah.
Was it a house party or did y'all go out somewhere?
No, house. We have you can't get this crew in adult life out in public anymore. We are off the grid only.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Plus, with some of the draconian shutdowns that are going all around the country, it's just easier nowadays. I went to a wedding on Saturday. That was fun. I didn't get crazy like I normally would. I started feeling it, and then I was like, I better rein it back in. This is a really, really well-to-do, nice wedding. And I was like, they may not be ready for McGee if I get to,
how'd you get that postponement planned on a wedding? Because that was a pretty slick move right there.
Yeah, I thought it was until we get swept the next day. I was like, God, I wish I had missed the damn game.
Here's the great thing about it. I missed both of them because for some reason, and I've got to do some homework, but MLB TV has blocked out certain cities that for VPNs, I guess. First time in years I've ever had an issue, and yesterday was an issue. I could not get coverage anywhere.
It'll block it out if you're in the wrong city. So I guess were you in Atlanta?
No, I traditionally use the Washington market, and it shot it. I moved around. I was having trouble yesterday. I didn't know if it was because it was a double header and maybe they didn't have a film crew for the first game. I gave up, tuned in for the second, just went to the radio broadcast because I got eyes on neither game, and it's something I've got to, I've got until 7 o'clock Eastern tonight to figure it out.
I didn't have an issue. Of course, I wasn't doing the Mets. I mean, I wasn't going up against the Marlins yesterday, so my VPN wouldn't have mattered yesterday. When I have to do the Braves VPN, I watch it on a laptop because it's just too big of a pain in the butt to do through the TV. Yeah. And I'm like, it's funny. I was like, you can. My wife will sit there and tell you can put that and project it onto the screen. I say, if it's on a laptop, I think it's big enough. It's just me watching, right? I don't have a watching party over here. So I did notice at the very beginning when I was logging in, I was cooking lunch for us, and I did notice that it gave me a weird connection deal, and I don't remember what it was. So I went to games as opposed to, when you first go into MLB and your favorite team's sitting right there, so you can just click and go. That was messing up yesterday, and I had to scroll over to where it said scores or games, however it says. And when I went over there, went into the individual game because it was a double header, it was fine. So that might have had something to do with it. I don't know. The game itself yesterday, not the first one. The first one was just as boring as the second one. Atlanta gets one hit in 14 innings of baseball. That's bad, dude.
You
And I'm
had
telling you,
two complete game shutouts thrown at you.
this is
Zallen.
crap that I don't like about Snitty Ball when I make fun of Snitty Ball. In Braves Nation, all they ever do is pat the guy on the back. But he has never developed these kids, these young players, into working a count. They don't do it. So if you just pitch just a little off the plate, they will get themselves out. I don't know why anyone ever gives us strikes to swing at. And that's what I see. Do you see it differently? Do you think it's best to be aggressive, et cetera, et cetera? Because I'm not if I'm playing a video game, I'm just going all in and swinging. But if I'm talking about real baseball, I'm all about working the count.
I feel like 6 out of 9 of our batters are in an 0-2 count 90% of the time. They're working their way out of a hole, and yeah, you need to get. This is a lineup built for. You have the long ball hitters that are spread and sprinkled throughout this lineup, top to bottom. Get some dabbling base runners on. Quit with the solo home runs. We've lost 2 ball games with 4 solo home runs. You should not hit 4 home runs in a ball game and lose. That should not happen. We've seen it twice this season out of this roster.
I agree. It's just when you sit there and you watch this and they take on the Cubs tonight, starts a 4-game series. Looking forward to that series. And if I'm the Cubs and I'm watching this, I'm like, why would I even pitch the plate? This team is undisciplined as hell, and you have to essentially put the blame on the manager. I know a lot of it is led by Freddie Freeman, because Freddie Freeman has historically ambushed pitchers. He likes to find his first fastball and swing at it, right? And he's made a hell of a career off of that. But I think the difference between what Freddie normally does and what Acuna or Azuna, Albies, just name them all up and down the line. They're swinging at the first fastball they see, whereas I believe Freddie is normally looking for a fastball in his comfort zone. And that's the difference. So if you throw a fastball just a little outside or a little inside off the plate, they swing at it. I feel like if you rolled the ball, if you bowled the ball to the home plate, they would swing at it because, well, it's coming and I got to swing at it. This team is never going to have anyone lead the league in walks. Not even come close. And I think you're going to have, they threw up a stat there. The Braves are the only team in baseball this year to already have multiple games of 1 hit ball or less. The only team. And I don't think that's an accident.
No, I don't either. This team is way too aggressive right now. And you're not seeing good small ball played out of them or the patience. And here's the other thing about that. When you get through that, you're not giving your arms any help either. You're just steamrolling. You're straight through. It's a constant strain out on your pen. You're rolling through them one right after another. So when you go out there and have these short innings, it's good to prolong some arms. And how about you leave an arm get cold over in the opposing dugout and not let it just stay fresh and come right back out and mow you down again?
Yeah, I don't think that they see the big picture on the most dangerous team that I ever saw in my lifetime play baseball was the 98 Yankees. They were probably the best team I've ever seen. And look, we can all go into, they bought their championships, et cetera, et cetera. But you know what the Yankees did more than anything that I used to watch, and I used to say, why don't more teams do this? They would work the count. They would be in your bullpen by the 5th inning. And that's how they won the games, because they knew that their bullpen was better than yours, and their starting pitching was pretty damn good as well. And if their starter can get to the 7th, your bullpen doesn't get until the 5th. They've got 2 innings of you facing their best guy and 2 innings of them facing your also-rans. And that's how they won in 96, 90, 8, 99, and 2000. So 4 times in 5 years they won the World Series, and that's how they did it. That's how they did it forever in New York.
And we saw the Braves do it in 2019, but we saw this progression to where it came to just be pure aggressiveness. And yes, they were locked in. They were getting contact and they were fighting counts off, and and they would get into longer counts, but they were still in the 0-2 hole. Now the shortened season of last year and the long ball just really was an unexpected thing. That, I mean, did you really think you was going to out thump everybody every single night, which is what happened. This lineup found a way to get to a bullpen late, and as soon as they got to a bullpen, it was over. They're not making that transition this year. For whatever reason, it's not getting there. So, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I'd like to see us go back to the basic. Like, let's try and achieve multiple walks today. Can we try and get 3? Can we start baby steps, and then maybe tomorrow we'll try to get 4? But let's look for some walks tonight and get aggressive, and let's get some base runners on. Let's put some pressure. I don't want to see any more abdominal strains, but let's try and get some runs.
All right, the other thing at hand yesterday, you had 7 innings pitched, no hit ball. They celebrated, although you did notice Bumgarner at first was just kind of like shaking hands, and he wasn't going to go bananas. And then the rest of the guys jumped up and they celebrated. I don't have a problem with them celebrating, because I get it, man. You get a chance to celebrate. I mean, hell, I've celebrated a lot dumber things. And you want to make sure that you're celebrating your teammate for, pitching a hell of a game. And it's always been, if a no-hitter's thrown, you jump up and down. This is not a no-hitter by definition of the Elias Sportsbook. Do you believe it should be considered a no-hitter or not?
I mean, no, because no-hitter's 9 innings. I mean, that would water down every no-hitter it's ever had. But it's not. I would celebrate it. Celebrate the heck out of a complete game shutout. A complete game by your starting pitcher. What else could you want as a manager? You didn't have to touch the bullpen at all. That's amazing. That's what you want. Now, granted, yeah, it won't go down in the books as a no-hitter, and I don't really care about that. It's a complete game shutout, and I think that's equally as important.
I know one thing. I'm going to have to take the complete game shutout points that we had get as a bonus. I'm going to have to lower that next year, because I didn't think about it, but you pitch a 7-inning complete game shutout in our fantasy leagues. I forget what it is. It's like 8-point bonus or whatever it is. You shouldn't get that on a 7-inning game, and unfortunately, they're not splitting the difference between what a 7-inning complete game is and a 9-inning complete no game is. Just like I talked about a while back, next year, I've got to remember to not put blown saves as a part of any kind of metrics, because when you start extra innings game when the guy's on second base and you blow that save, you're getting. So in other words, you're up by a run because you're in the bottom of the 10th, right? And you have a guy sitting on second base and he gets bunted over and a fly ball ties the game. That's being considered a blown save. And so your reliever is getting.
Is that an earned run as well?
No, it's not. I don't believe
they're not.
I'm not 100% sure about that. I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm not 100% sure.
I never thought about how that rule would transition, but that's an unfair earned run. If it is, it's very unfair.
I believe that when they first came out with it, they said it would not be considered an earned run. But that was 9 months ago during a pandemic, so I don't.
I'll have to look into that because I'm curious. I haven't even thought about it.
Next time, I'll just have to pay attention to the stat score. The next time I'm watching a game, I'll have to say, did they hit that guy with an earned run or not? But yeah, like that right there is just, junk as well. The only reason why I even bring that up, and I don't believe it's a no-hitter, there's a Jeff Passan of ESPN tweeted out saying, make it happen, MLB. Almost like he was guilting them into making it happen. This came up in
Well, then Giolito had a no-hitter. If Mad Bum had one, he went an inning and 2/3 longer and barely grazed the guy off the top of the foot. So are we going to count that one too?
Right, exactly. In 1991, this came up. It was voted on by the rules committee, and it stood, and I don't think it needs to be touched. And the reason why it was voted on back then, there was two things that happened that the previous year, y'all, that wanted to come up as a no-hitter. And one was there was the first combined no-hitter ever. There was like 5 relievers. I think it was the Pittsburgh Pirates, 5 relievers. I remember watching the game as a kid. And I think it was the Pirates, but regardless, they were saying, was that a no-hitter? And they did agree that it is a no-hitter, although it will always be asterisked as a combined no-hitter, right? And then the other thing was it wasn't a 7-inning game like yesterday. It was a rain-shortened event. And they made it into like the 7th or 8th inning. I don't remember what inning it was. And the argument was it should be a no-hitter. And the rules committee said, no, it must be 9 innings or more of no-hit baseball to be considered a no-hitter. And if you're the pitcher, I don't even think you want that. I really don't. But let's go ahead and move on, Justin, because we only have so much time. And we could talk about how ESPN is trying to guys like Passan are always trying to ESPN up my MLB, and it pisses me off.
But here's the point. What is a no-hitter really anyway? I mean, does it even matter anymore? You could walk the bases loaded and have a double play and get you out of every inning. And if you do that through and you have 20 walks, what does your no-hitter really mean? I mean, are we really dissecting? You're looking for perfect games and complete games. I'm sorry. That's the two that I would rather have. I mean, granted, you want a perfect game.
I like the no-hitter if it's a legitimate no-hitter. And meaning I don't consider it a no-hitter in my book legitimately when you have a bunch of base runners, no matter what the reason is. And there was a no-hitter 5 or 6 years ago. It's been since we've done this show where you remember Edwin Jackson, he pitched a no-hitter. It was out on the West Coast. I want to say it was in the American League. Doesn't really matter. It might have even been in the Arizona Diamondbacks, but he played on like 45 teams. But he threw a no-hitter, and he walked like 8 people that day. And I'm like, yeah. I know one thing, your WAR sucked that day. I don't know about your no-hitter, but your WAR was trash. So I can't get behind it. Moving on from that, the Tennessee spring game. Did you get a chance to watch the whole thing? Because I got pissed off, and I'll tell you why, but I'll let you answer.
I did not watch the whole thing, but I did watch the first half, and I did not come back for the second.
So as I sent you the text, I was on my way to the wedding. When I got out to the wedding, no service whatsoever. I mean, I couldn't pull up anything. I tried to pull up apps to check scores. You name, I couldn't pull up anything. So I was okay. Well, I just have to put the phone aside for the day. Fair enough. Enjoy the wedding. And it was a nice wedding. Kim, who through the wedding, her daughter got married, and the relation is my wife and Kim worked together for years in the catering business. They did weddings all the time. So it was so you can imagine someone who does this for a living. She put together a really nice wedding. Okay. I won't go into details. I don't have pictures to show. So, what the hell does anyone care about it? But I did have a good time. But as I'm out there, and I told you I'm recording it, I was assuming I was recording it. I get home to watch it that night, and I have everything set on YouTube TV to record that has anything to do with Tennessee football, the University of Tennessee football, anything to do with Tennessee Titan football. That's how I have it set up. They didn't consider that because it was called the Tennessee Orange and White Spring Game. And because it didn't say Tennessee football on it, the damn thing didn't record. So they're replaying it today at 1:00, and I'm going to watch it today.
I watched it on the Plus, so you might not have to wait on that recording. I mean, just if you
okay. Well,
if you wanted to see it, I don't know if they archive those, but I did watch it through Plus.
I didn't even think about that. I was going through my recording, and I'd had a few beers. My wife was, she was going to bed. I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind watching some football right now.
And you missed the orange breeches. Man, they get me excited when they wear those. It's not a uni combination, and I have no idea why we do not get the orange jerseys and orange breeches, but man, that's a hot combination. One of my favorite of all time.
So let me ask you this. Much like I did when Willie Taggart came, and much like I did when Norvell came, the main thing I wanted to see was what was the team going to look like differently, especially on the offensive end? Did you see a difference in the philosophy and offense, or is it too soon?
This is Butch Jones tempo on. Well, I don't think I can say that on air. It's sped up. Let's just put it that way. It was really weird the way they did the scoring too. It's going to drive you nuts. You're absolutely not going to like it. The orange and white rotate points back and forth. There are not two squads. They are one team playing offense and defense and scoring points for both orange and white. It is really weird. I have no idea how Heupel came up with this strategy or plan that he wanted to do, but anyway, it was out there.
Game I watch, I can't keep up with how they're scoring it, and they change it every year.
But what one team I think ran 60 offensive plays, the other 39 broken down. So you saw 99 plays. I mean, they were getting it. They were stretching it out, and it was run deep shot. It was not a lot of. Man, I'm so tired of the Cheney check down screen game. It's not that. It pushed the envelope. It stretched the field. Cornerbacks better be getting their cardio in because it was aggressive. Harrison Bailey looked legit. I will take that. That was the biggest takeaway for me was that of the three that were in the game, which was Bailey, Hooker, the Virginia Tech transfer, and Maurer, who we saw last year battle with Bailey and Garantano. So if I was going to rank them right now, it would be Bailey, Maurer, Hooker is how they performed on Saturday. But Bailey, hands down, if you're awarding a job today, he won the starting position. He is your head guy coming in. We'll see what Milton adds to that this fall and how he challenges. But Bailey's true pocket passer, and he looked pretty good. Offensive line looked good for what they lost. Now I know the defense is scheming and getting used to a complete new system. So I expected a little rust, and we saw it. We saw a lot more offense than we did defense, but you have to expect that out of this new regime. So it was exciting and fun to watch. I don't put too much into it. It's a spring game, and we're beating up our own bad defense. So what exactly are we really saying to ourselves? It's one of them, like you want to be happy because you saw great offensive production, but then you're like, oh dear God, we're not near as good as Alabama's offense or Florida's. This is going to be horrible. So I'm trying to, reel that in a little bit.
Well, I'm looking forward to see what the tempo looks like. I'm planning on watching it today. I want to see a lot of things, but that's the main thing I want to see is, what's it going to look like? I'm with you when it comes to spring games, though. They get goofy. I remember there was a year, and I don't remember if it was at the end of Bowden's or the beginning of Jimbo's, but it was in that time frame. I feel like it was beginning of Jimbo's, like he was like trying to go with something innovative. And Bowden did this too, because I remember this even years before that, where they came up with a scoring system for the defense, where like a sack equaled this and a tackle equaled that, but a first down equaled this, and in the scoreboard. And I went to one with Bowden doing that, and it was so damn confusing. You couldn't even pay attention to the scoreboard. It made no sense because they were trying to make it, well, we want the best offense and the best defense to go up against each other and vice versa. So as opposed to doing it any other way, we're going to award them points for this and that. It was screwy. I'm like, man, just play the game. No one really cares who wins. It's just an exhibition. But don't get me here confusing me with, well, there was a pass interference penalty, so that's minus 2.3 points on that play. And you're like, whatever, dude. Anyways. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into a couple of things, including LeBron James is catching heat from all sides. I mean, people who you wouldn't even think were going after LeBron James are going after LeBron James. We'll be back in a flash on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Let me tell you something. If the U.S. government decides to stick a tracking device up your ass, you say thank you. And God bless America.
ACC football covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterback.
Against the blitz, touchdown, Florida State. Rock Preston scores the touchdown. And now it's Bowden's decision, and he sends Maury onto the field right away. Danny Cannell is the holder. Maury ties it. The this game is over. A 31-31 tie. A 31-31 tie.
A deep throw by Lawrence. A lot of contact. Justin Ross broke free from it. He's down in the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson. Justin Ross, a freshman wide receiver, big, rangy. And Trevor Lawrence knows, throw it up against that single coverage, give him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball.
If you're a fan of the ACC, pull up an armchair. You're home.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, this Jay-Z.
This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Kick off fall and kick off happiness with Schafferhofer grapefruit and pomegranate beer. Log on to kickoffhappiness.com for your chance to win a cool custom cooler with Schafferhofer swag, including your favorite team's jersey. Look for the Schafferhofer displays at your local retailers for great savings on Schafferhofer grapefruit and pomegranate. And learn more about the sweepstakes at kickoffhappiness.com. See site for official rules. Must be 21 or older. Brewed and bottled in Germany. Imported by Radeberger Group USA, Norwalk, Connecticut. Always enjoy responsibly.
Although edited, tonight's thriller contains suspense and violence which may be unsuitable. Parental discretion is advised.
Good morning. Welcome back here at Armchair Quarterbacks Radio. Justin, Brian made a funny a second ago on the comments. He asked me if I shaved my face because I'm cheating, trying to lose a pound of hair in our weight loss. I don't know if you want to call it challenge, but we've all decided to try to lose weight to help each other lose weight. We're going to hold ourselves accountable. We will weigh in every Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month. That's not why I shaved. I shaved because we were going to a wedding. I knew my wife would want to take pictures, and she complains about me having facial hair all the time. I said, you know what? I'll do you a solid and I'll shave. And she's like, and then after she goes, you look weird. I don't recognize you. I was like, you're the one who bitched about this.
It started to, but it was almost my, I don't know much, but I know one thing, but I didn't want to do it. But it's not the beard for me, man. It's the hat. I haven't seen you in probably 3 or 4 years without some sort of headgear on. So it's just unique not seeing you with a hat.
Yeah, I'll do a hat. I'll do a non-hat probably once every 2 to 3 weeks. This time it's been probably a couple of months since I've done a hat, but I just didn't do a hat today because I essentially didn't. Sometimes I grab hats, and the little at the top of your ball cap, you got the little, I don't know what you want to call it,
little button or whatever it is.
Yeah, the button, exactly, perfect word for it. And my headset will start crushing it into my skull, and I won't even realize if I go, hey, my head kind of hurts, and I'll go, oh, son of a gun, that thing's crushing it into it. So that's the only reason why I did it that day. I was like, screw it, I'll actually comb my hair. Normally I comb it and then put a hat on because I don't want my hair just all freaking wrangled and whatnot. But yeah. Before we get into the mock draft, first of all, did you see what Charles Barkley said about the University of Georgia's mascot?
No. I did not see this one.
Now y'all have to realize he's catching heat on this. Cancel culture is coming after Charles Barkley. But Charles Barkley is also an Auburn graduate, and that's a pretty big rivalry, Auburn and Georgia. I don't know how it came about. I don't know when he said it. I'm assuming he said it on the TNT show. I haven't seen the clip. I just saw a quote with his picture, and so I don't know when it was actually said. But first of all, I will say that Charles Barkley is undefeated as being one of my favorite people on the planet, okay? He's just funny. I think he's genuinely a good guy, and you take anything he says seriously, you're a dumbass from the jump. So anytime like Shaq gets mad at him on the air, I'm like, Shaq, you're just kind of stupid. Like it's not it's not your fault, but you're not very smart when it comes to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley likes to push your buttons, and Shaq has got a competitive fire in him still, to where he gets mad if he's not if you don't talk about Shaq being one of the elite players, he gets mad about it, right? He's like Michael Jordan kind of mad. He wasn't mad enough about it during his playing career to learn how to shoot a free throw, but he's mad enough about it for where he, Shaq was probably a bully his whole life and just expected everyone to, kiss his butt. And that's not what goes down with Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, like, I'm not that worried about you. But Charles Barkley said Georgia named their mascot after the women down there. Talking about the Bulldogs. Now, I don't know what the context is. I don't know why they would be talking about Georgia football, or maybe they're talking about the draft, a Georgia player coming. I don't know. Something came out about the Georgia Bulldogs, and that's what he said. I find it pretty funny. And even still, in the grand scheme of things, it's not one of his funnier bits. Yeah, I think of that being more of something I would hear from an old fart in a bar that's probably used that same line 37 times over his years, but you still laugh and you give him a pat on the back and you move on, right? Man, cancel cultures get pissed off and everything.
Isn't this the Southeastern Conference's oldest rivalry game? Auburn, Georgia.
It's the feminist junk about making fun of women. It's that.
I get it, but come on, man. These schools have gone back hundreds of years of dishing this out back and forth to each other.
I know it's the whole reason why
we're going to cancel Alabama during the Iron Bowl this year, because nobody's going to be able to handle in 2021 what Auburn and Alabama say to each other.
It's a whole reason why I started the show off. You know how we always have that little clip before we do the sports flash, and the clip of Batwoman telling Batman that she should be getting paid more because she's been working there longer, and equal pay for equal women. And you can hear a bomb ticking in the background. And then Batman says, "This is no time for jokes, Batwoman." Now she actually responds, and it's actually like this learning tool of like late 60s television where feminism was coming to. And she actually does this. No, Batman, this is serious. And she does this whole thing. But I thought it was funnier just to cut it off right there. This is no time for jokes, Batwoman. I just cut it off before her answer. But I mean, come on. I remember there were jokes years ago where we would say, this was back when the University of Florida played on AstroTurf, and it's a lame joke, but this is the joke, Justin. Why does the University of Florida play on AstroTurf?
No idea.
It's to keep their cheerleaders from grazing at halftime at midfield. Okay. It was dumb. They're dumb jokes, right? We know they've been recycled from other schools, but you told that joke. It was a funny joke, and so and it's just like, and this has nothing to do with feminism or anything, but there's the one that says, why does the University of Florida not offer ice cubes with your drinks during ball games? And the answer is, they forgot the recipe. It's always just dumb jokes, right? Everyone got cancel culture mad and all ticky about it. Anyways, that's what's going on there. Just wanted to bring it up. I really don't
inbox us your best Seminole jokes too, folks. I want to hear these.
I don't know. I'm sure they're just recycled ones that Florida State uses versus Florida, and Florida uses it for Florida State and Miami, and
They all are interchangeable. This is just a follow-up. I mean, this is a follow-up probably from the last time he pissed everybody off when he made the suggestion that the WNBA, if you wanted to make it more entertainable, you should lower the goal so they could dunk.
That was Shaq.
Oh, I thought that was Barkley as well. My bad.
That was Shaq. And Shaq
Same show, wrong people. My bad.
Shaq wasn't even joking. Shaq was being serious. And I thought he had a legitimate argument. I really do. I still do. That if you want it,
I mean, in the context of what he was saying, if you bring the dunking in, you're going to put eyes on TV. I mean, he wasn't saying it was a physical. I mean, he wasn't putting it any way demeaning or putting it down. He's just saying you will bring in an audience that something we haven't seen before, and we'll want it, people will see. They will tune in and watch. He's 100% correct.
Well, yeah, and then I also have to look at the grand scheme of things too. Is he's just basically saying what people like the NBA because you can dunk, and the women can't dunk on the 10-foot rim. It's not that.
Oh, my bad. I thought Charles said that one.
No, but if Charles was saying it, you know, he'd be kind of the right smile like that, right? Shaq was being serious, and I don't think what he said was wrong. Candace Parker got bent out of shape. She but she's a huge left wing nut, and so she got bent out of shape and shot him down or whatnot. And but it wasn't. He wasn't meaning disrespect. He was stating facts, right? It was like they can't dunk on those 10-foot rims. Why the hell are they playing on? I always thought it was. This is 30 years ago when I was playing basketball in high school and whatnot. I always thought it was insane that the women played on the same size rim. It made no sense whatsoever. But anyways, with all that being said, LeBron James is catching heat finally from a lot of sides because of the fact that when the facts came out and the whole shooting took place in Ohio, he came out with "You're next," putting that police officer's picture that we talked about on Friday. He's finally getting backlash from all sides, and I was a little surprised to see it. And now he's become a joke himself. But I'll say this to the point of the entire LeBron James experience that we've watched over the last, was it 4 or 5 years ago, he really started digging in. LeBron James, when you talk about virtue signaling, that's all he does. He just wants you to think that he is a woke, evolved guy. So he's always going to be out there with this, by the way, 50 million followers. And when he did that, that police officer is getting death threats to his house. And a lot of it was to do with LeBron James putting his picture out there.
Going to be an interesting civil case is all I know.
I'd sue the hell out of his ass, man.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And somebody needs to hold somebody accountable for one of these knee-jerk things. And these people have to remember the powerful influence they have with 50 million followers when they regurgitate this idea. These are his opinions that, he's putting other life in danger for his opinion. His opinion is not fact. He didn't disclose the full facts, and he shot his mouth off and put a man and his family in danger before he was sure of what he was airing out there. And, in the world of cancel culture, we see it all day. I'd like to see some accountability of their own. Like, hey, if you're going to dock somebody and you're going to do this, you better be 100% accurate, or you better be 100% ready to financially take the responsibility of what you have caused to these individuals. And that's where maybe we'll see some accountability and people will start thinking before they just start being social justice warriors.
A bigger man would have deleted the tweet and came out at some point over the last few days and said, I made a mistake. I jumped the gun. I didn't have all the facts.
Instead, when you have a Cincinnati business that says they're no longer going to show games and they're going to have their own self-imposed boycott, he responds to them with, dang, I was about to go in there and get some food. Welp. I mean, just seriously laughing at it it's just astonishing how
I can't imagine Cincinnati's
just don't care.
Cincinnati sports bar has the NBA on anyways. I mean, I did have to laugh at the actual story because when it was sent to me by a few people, and I was like, they won't play in the NBA until like the Cleveland Cavaliers are relevant again. That's what this is about. The Reds are playing pretty good baseball.
Bengals have Joe Burrows in a draft this week.
Right. What the hell do they care about the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? I've been to.
It's just a response that I was like, that.
I know. No. I get it, but I've been to Cincinnati. It's not a basketball town by any stretch of the imagination, but it was humorous that they made that stand because they're doing it to try to get publicity themselves.
Right.
And so actually him doing that is going to help their publicity. But LeBron, no one's inviting you. No one wants you in their building. I wouldn't want to watch anything with LeBron James. He's a puke. He's a phony. That's my biggest problem. I never have a problem if I disagree with your views because we can talk about it and I'm fine with it. I don't like phonies, and he's a damn phony. He will go out of his way to make sure that you're patting him on the back, or he pats himself on the back with his virtue signaling. Look how good of a person I am because I tweeted this, or he doesn't do anything. He's got $100 million mansion in Bel Air. He gives as much money back to the community. Well, he does give money back. I will say that. He does. He does have some projects he gives money back, but they're very centered on race, which I've always had an issue with that with him because I can't like that. But as far as him doing anything real over this last year, he didn't do anything. What did he do? He stood up there when the judge passed away, and him and Anthony Davis wore the fake robe tops. Remember that?
Was that Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yes. I always forget her first. I always just remember Ginsburg, and I remember Ruth, but I always forget the Vader parts. That's why it's like. But yeah, when she passed away, and I don't have a problem with showing respect to her, but the way he does it, he just wants people to look at him, right? A normal person would have put out an appropriate tweet and away you go. This guy has to make sure that you're showing. It's always look at me. Even like the LeBron James barbershop television show that they did where they're talking to him. Oh my God, it was nauseating.
Mine's a little I want to see some follow-up just because I think it's all hypocrisy. Well, I know it to be hypocrisy, but the whole election and get out and vote and do all this, and we're going to have the NBA open up all of its arenas as voting centers and blah, blah, blah. Well, you got a midterm coming up in 16, 17 months. Haven't heard a peep about it. Where is this big revolutionary change where we're going to start working on our ballots from the city up and really improving our communities? Because we drove this thing home. We drove this narrative in this bubble, and I hear nothing about it.
There's no one is going to give him enough publicity for it, so he's not going to do the hard work. He'll stand up in next election, next presidential election, and
I was going to say he'll skip one. It won't be next election.
Right. He might do something for the 2022s, but it won't be on the local level. Because he doesn't care about local. It doesn't affect him. Nothing affects him realistically, but he wants the national level because he wants to keep pumping his brand.
But it affects his.
We got a draft, buddy. All right.
Yeah. So let's do something important today.
All right. We got 6 picks to get in here in about 10 minutes to do it, or a little less than that. So you got the Minnesota. Almost said Timberwolves, Vikings. I'd say the Timberwolves could use some draft picks as well. When was the last time they were relevant? Where are you going with the Vikings?
Well, if memory serves me, scrolling through, we have drafted offensive and defensive line already for the Vikings. So I'm going to back the defensive side of the ball. And if I have picked correctly, I will take safety Jamar Johnson out of Indiana. Get some help for that secondary player that can play outside, cornerback, safety, rangy, good tackler. So something that could really sure in the backup of that defense, add some depth.
All right, so I've got the Browns and 92nd pick overall. They've already had a few picks. The most recent one was the safety pick. They've also gone a couple of other ways, but I'll tell you what I think the Browns need because of injuries, and of course they're going to end up with, I think, a couple of issues playing in that division, particularly, that I think they can't get enough of. When you're going up against the Steelers and you're going up against Lamar Jackson and now Joe Burrows, one of the issues that Cleveland has, I think, is building their defensive backfield. And they went safety, but now I want to go cornerback. I want to get a guy who's actually a hands-on cornerback, defensive back, however you want to call him. I don't believe this guy has been taken. Aaron Robinson out of Central Florida. Does that sound like he's been taken? I'm kind of shaky on whether he's been taken or not.
I think we've had a wide receiver, but not the defensive back. I'm scrolling through. I believe he is available, sir.
Okay. I didn't know if I couldn't remember if I'd read him so much that I thought he was available or if I've written him down.
Yeah, we got him out of the Bengals at 69.
Okay. I thought he was gone. So that's okay. I know this guy's not taken, and they have been high on him. I ain't gonna lie to you and tell you I've watched him. I've just read things about him. Robert Rochelle, Central Arkansas, defensive back. He's a cornerback. He is pretty good rating. He's actually rated over Samuel at Florida State. So I'm going to take Rochelle, Central Arkansas, defensive back. Where are you going with the Green Bay Packers?
All right. First round, we had them take Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa. And second round with pick, I believe it was 62, they take Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. So I'm going to loop back around, and I think it's a little late in this draft, but we're going to do it here for the Packers and shore up that offensive line. I'm going interior line. I'm looking for a center guard, someone that can be flexible on them three positions, and I'm going with Josh Meyer, center out of Ohio State. And hopefully he is still there. I believe he is, but his ability to play the interior line and great run blocker should really pay dividends up there on that staff and that line.
All right, so that takes us to the Buffalo Bills with the number 30 pick overall and the number 61 pick overall. So the 30th pick, they had Samuel out of Florida State. The 61st pick, they have Brevin Jordan, tight end out of Miami. So make sure those two dudes don't sit together on the bus because they're probably not going to get along. So number 93 pick overall, and they don't pick again till the 5th round, where they do have 2 picks, but they don't pick again until the 5th round. Looking at Buffalo and looking at their needs, and they took care of their defensive back need. They got a tight end, which is a secondary need, but I just thought it was. I remember when I drafted him at the time, I just felt like he was one of the best players still available. So now you got Buffalo, and this is something that I think they've needed, and I know they've drafted, but something's not clicking there in Buffalo when they draft running backs. I don't know what it is, but they have no running game. They have no running game whatsoever. And so, the perfect thing would have been to draft the guy that you drafted earlier, would have been Patterson out of Buffalo to go to Buffalo. That would have been, in a perfect world, where I would have gone. But he's long gone. And I'm looking at the guys who are best available at this point. I think Trey Sermon is still there from Ohio State. And if so, I think that's the guy I'm going to go with. I'm banking on the fact that I saw him play a few times where I felt like he was pretty electric, but it's always difficult for me to tell if an Ohio State running back is really good or if he's just got a good line going up against Northwestern. So I am going to go with Trey Sermon. Buffalo, I think that fills a need. and they've got to get a running game. They cannot let the entire offense run through Josh Allen on every single play. They had no shot at beating Kansas City because of it. They were just one-dimensional. So that's where I'm going. Trey Sermon.
All right, that leaves me with Kansas City, pick number 95. Somehow we have shored up the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs with their offseason rebuilds, and we've drafted them 2 offensive linemen, so they're going to be meat graders here. I'm going to get them some outside help so they can pass block, and I believe this player is still here. He's fallen to the 3rd round. I'm going wide receiver out of Michigan, Nico Collins. 6'4", 215, big explosive 50-50 ball guy. For a large guy, has big speed, and I think in that offense, the way that they churn wide receivers and their contracts that will be coming up around, they're going to have to draft in some younger explosive talent, and that's the only way they're going to keep this core together around these superstars they have. So Nico Collins, wide receiver, Michigan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still around.
I read through, I cannot find his name on there anywhere. Some people show him as a 2nd, 3rd round pick. He's fallen to the 3rd. A lot of people have him graded as a 3rd round wide receiver. So if a guy with that speed, that big, is still there, I'll take him.
I figure if he was taken, look around the time where Sean might have drafted. So that's, Michigan guy. So now we've got the Buccaneers to finish this off mercifully. And the Buccaneers, with the 32nd pick, they took Etienne, running back out of Clemson. And then they took the defensive tackle, Bobby Brown, out of Texas A&M on the 2nd pick. So they got a defensive tackle. They've got the running back that I think they desperately need. And now the question is, do they go wide receiver at this point and say to hell with Antonio Brown, or they bring in Antonio Brown back? And that's really the $1 million question right now. Is it, will they bring Antonio Brown back? I think they probably will. But is there a wide receiver out there that they think could be a difference maker and they bring him along? There's a couple out there that I like. I do not believe. Let me double check. Is Cade Johnson still out there from South Dakota State? Does that ring a bell at all?
He is gone.
He is gone. Okay. I knew that was too good to be true. All right. Well, then in that case, let me just switch the script because I don't think they should draft I thought he was there. And
I only remember that one because I believe I picked him up for the Eagles and just thought it was funny. They get rid of a San Diego State player and they bring one in.
So I'm going to go with an edge rusher. I think Chris Rumpf from
North
Duke.
Dakota. Sorry.
I think Chris Rumpf from Duke is still there. I don't remember that name because I feel like that is a name. If I would have written that down, that would have jumped out at me.
Rumpf is still there.
So let me take Chris Rumpf out of Duke, edge rusher. Just gives them one more young, talented player on that defense to wreak havoc on the quarterbacks in that division. And that concludes it. Next year, like I said, we're going to do this differently. This has been too hard to keep up with.
Good bloodline right there, too. I like that pick falling down there. I think a lot of teams will be interested in him. His dad had a great career, great coaching career. He's an NFL defensive coach right now.
Where's his dad at?
Don't give me the line. I think Chicago. His last stint was at Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. He got pulled off, Auburn got pulled off that roster and went up there, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, sorry, dude. We're not going to have a chance for sorry, dude. So give me your walk-off for the day.
It's pick on Cubs day. So hopefully the Braves can get off their snide and, get some offense going, whatever they got to do, man. I mean, can we lean into pitches? Can you lean into 4 in a row and just walk in a run? That's all I need to see today.
Need something, man, because I'll tell you what, that's the most brutal baseball I've watched in a long time.
Can you send a major league batter to the plate without a bat? Like, can that be done?
The only thing that I know is that was one of the most brutal 5 hours, whatever the hell it was, that I spent on the couch the other day, yesterday. I did get up and do other things, but that was brutal. just watching it and was like, God, we're going to have a rally going for 14 innings. All right, brother, we will see you tomorrow. And thankfully that damn mock draft is over with.
Have a great day, everyone.
All right, brother. We'll be back in a flash with Red Raider Doug here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here on CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live, and find us today. So let me get this thing going right here. We go. Got to make sure I mute Doug before we go to break because the dude likes to throw the smoker's cough on us. We'll be back in a flash.
Over on Michelle Obama.
She's doing a tour because she's doing a book tour. Yeah, she wrote a book. She wrote a book about not having a job. I'll tell you right now, say what you want about Republican presidents, but they got their first ladies in line. They do. Dude, George W. was president for 8 years. 8 years. I don't even know his wife's name. What was it, Abigail?
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Madison Bumgarner made Major League Baseball history on Sunday, achieving the first 7-inning no-hitter in a doubleheader shortened game on Sunday against the Atlanta Braves. The doubleheader swept Atlanta after Zach Gallen threw a one-hitter to win the opener 5-0. 14 innings pitched by the Diamondbacks' 2 starters, allowing just 1 hit and no runs. Bumgarner struck out 7, and the only Braves batter who reached base against him came on shortstop's Nick Ahmed's throwing error in the 2nd inning. Nick Ahmed is an ex-Atlanta Brave. The 1 hit across the 2 combined games meant the Braves amassed the fewest in a doubleheader in Major League Baseball history, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. The previous fewest was 2 hits by Cleveland against the Red Sox on April 12th, 1992, albeit those would have been 2 9-inning ball games. Officially, Bumgarner's gem won't be counted in the list of no-hitters. Major League Baseball's 8-man Committee on Statistical Accuracy decided in 1991 that a no-hitter was a game of 9 or more innings that ended with no hits. Jeff Passan of ESPN argued on Twitter Sunday that it should be counted as a no-hitter. Atlanta's only hit on Sunday was a clean single to right field by Freddie Freeman in game number 1. Also on Sunday, the Oakland A's 13-game winning streak came to an end as Austin Hayes hit a pair of home runs, and starter John Means had a stellar performance as the Orioles beat the Athletics 8-1. Oakland won 14 in a row in 1988, and then an AL record of 20 consecutive wins in 2002. Hayes gave the Orioles the lead with a solo shot to center in the 2nd, while Ramon Laureano tied it in the 4th when he homered into the Baltimore bullpen. Hayes answered in the bottom half with an opposite field shot that gave Baltimore a 3-1 lead, one they would not relinquish in his 2nd multi-homer game of the 25-year-old young phenom's career. Looking ahead to today, we've got quite a slate in Major League Baseball. It all begins at 1:10 p.m. Brad Keller and Spencer Turnbull go head-to-head as the Royals are in Detroit. And tonight, the Cubs head to Atlanta for a 4-game set, Zach Davies against Charlie Morton. First pitch, 7 o'clock on ESPN. At 7:45, the Phillies and Cardinals play for the 34th time in 12 days. At 6 o'clock, the Twins invade Cleveland. It's Jose Barrios versus Zach Plesac. At 10:10, the Reds are in LA to take on the Dodgers. It's Tyler Mahle versus Julio Urias. While in the NBA, on NBA TV, you got a doubleheader. 7:30 Eastern, the Phoenix Suns are at the New York Knicks. And at 10 o'clock, it's the Mavs at Kings. Other games of interest, the Lake Show is in Orlando at 7 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, it's the Bulls versus the Heat. while the Clippers and Pelicans take the court at 8 Eastern. And in the National Hockey League, at 8 Eastern, the Florida Panthers are in Nashville to take on the Predators. While on NBC Sports at 7:30, the puck drops between the Hurricanes and the Stars. And ESPN Plus has the Ducks and Kings battling on at 10 p.m. Eastern. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie? Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Take one more, sir. Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Good morning. Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Hanging out with Red Raider Doug. Doug, how are you this morning?
Doing good, sir. Doing good.
We're going to do the Raiders draft today. We cut it off at round 4. So Doug didn't have to figure out what long snapper to take in the 7th round. But we're going to do all the Raiders picks today. We're going to do this week for everyone who is fans of their teams. I'm going to get Steven to do the Dolphins tomorrow, and we'll just kind of compare notes, and away we'll go with that and kind of figure out where we want to be. Doug, not sure if our friend Sean O'Toole is watching or not, but how did that fantasy basketball playoff thing go?
Well, right now I want to reach out to everybody. I think I might have to put Sean on the back of a milk carton because he was missing yesterday. Poor Sean. Sorry, Sean, but I had to give you that beat down.
I saw that you had a pretty good lead going into the final day. I think you had like a 200-point lead or something like that. I was like, there's no way he's blowing that. So and then I got the text from you last night that you'd won.
Yeah, that was over with by halftime.
I would say so. The teams that were good at the beginning were not very good in the end. That's all I'll say about this league. Sean and PJ came out the gates, and I thought they would be the ones probably in the finals, and they both were bounced last night. So it's you and Steven, I think, in the finals. I actually had more points than Steven, but to my fault, no fault but my own. I don't know. There's like a month there where I didn't pay attention to my team, and I kept getting losses because I'd pay attention for like a day, and then I go back in and I go, oh crap, I'm gonna lose another one. Oh crap, I'm gonna lose another one. There's some of them I lost by like 30 or 40 points because I just wasn't paying attention. I wasn't setting my lineup, and that sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot in fantasy basketball. Fantasy basketball, it's a little hard for it to catch my attention because it's not as fun and it's not as hard as baseball and football.
No.
So if you just compile players and remember to start them every time, you're going to do fine. My problem is I just didn't remember to start them. And I would even tell us, all right, this week I'm going to take care of it. Well, pay attention. And then it'd be like Wednesday afternoon. I haven't even set my lineup this week. What the hell am I doing? So anyways, good luck to y'all in the finals. I think for me to pay attention, there's going to have to be money involved in it or something. I don't know. I just lost all interest. But good luck to y'all. Conversely, since we're talking about stuff like that, How'd you like getting your ass kicked in fantasy baseball a little bit? I'll beat the brakes off you, man. In the it was in the YouTube league, right? The
snake draft.
Yeah.
Snake draft. Yeah. Like I said, I got to take the sweet, I got to take the sweet and the salt and the salty. Yeah, that was a beating. I never even showed up. They didn't even show up all week long.
So typically in these types of leagues, 300, high 300s is a good week. In a regular 7-day week, I scored 532 points.
Yes, you did.
Doug got 371, and he would have beaten 2 other teams in the league, and he would have came really, really close to 3.
Yeah.
So your average winner this week was around 400 points, a little over 400. My team just went bonkers, and
mine just sat down and said, "Forget it." You get the basketball win, you get nothing else.
What I am most surprised in is that Mr. Forbes is tied for first place in this. Yes, he's paying attention. I'll see him on Thursday, but yeah,
wow,
he's paying attention. It looks like.
Wow. Okay. Some things do change. Miracles do happen.
Let me see. Let me see his point scored. Has he just gotten lucky and played bad teams, or he's got the second most points scored in the league?
Wow.
It's impressive.
Go Forbes.
I think he got auto drafted too, but I can't remember. No, actually, I don't think he was. Now that I think about it, anyways, not important, but yeah. So I'm happy that I am. Are there anyone still undefeated in these leagues? See, Will is undefeated in the Dynasty League, but he hasn't played the big dog. He's playing the big dog this week in that league. So big dog gonna bite. And then the other league, Sean is undefeated. And
Sean, come back.
In the what is this? I think this is the auction league.
Yeah.
He's playing a winless Stephen Trost league team.
Must be nice. And I get to play you this week in that.
This guy's opinion on fantasy baseball and fantasy football, he hasn't won a game. What the hell's wrong with him? I don't know if he's running into buzzsaws or what, but yeah.
Yeah,
you and I, man, I swear I feel like I play you every week. You and I are going head to head in another league. We're in the auction league this week. Every week, man. Every week. You got any pickups that you like this year? I mean, this week? Excuse me.
This week, there's one that I'm amazed that I guess people felt like he had dropped off early, but he's been playing red hot. And he was available until I picked him up, but he was available in all our leagues. Was Yuri Gurriel. Even though he's 70% picked in most, Yahoo and ESPN leagues, in our leagues,
he was still available. About it is that you'll notice this in our leagues, the points leagues, where you only get 4 pickups now. Yeah. They all worry so much about streaming that they don't work on their batting throughout the year. And so that's how guys like that slip through the grapevine.
Yeah. I was just really surprised by it, but
no, I mean, you should improve your batting, right? Mm-hmm. Not all 4 of your pickups every week should be pitchers necessarily.
I mean, unless you're playing from really behind. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was going to say you can stream them, but if you have a glaring need in your offense, absolutely.
Yeah, I picked them up because I got injuries. I've just got day-to-days, and I've got try to find somebody who's as consistent as Bellinger would have been. So I had to pick up somebody who was a little bit bring some spark, because last week offensively I couldn't score a run to save my life against you and against others. So I gotta find somebody who can offensively keep my team in these games. So That's why I picked him up.
Are there any guys out there that you got on your team and you're like, I can't believe I drafted this idiot where I drafted him? And
oh yeah, right off the bat, he was hyped in the preseason. He played well in spring training, and he's been garbage. And that's Jameson Talon of the Yankees. He is horrible.
Yeah, he's never been any good.
And that was the big hype, is that he had changed his pitch. He had improved velocity on some of his other pitches. He hasn't done anything. He's the same old, same old.
He's probably about to lose his job, because Devi Garcia's coming up from the minors today, or the alternate site, and that's the pickup that I would suggest for people. He's available in a lot of leagues. I picked him up in all of our leagues today because if he comes out wheeling and dealing like he has in the like he did last year. Was it last year? What was the stat? 34 innings, 33 strikeouts, and only 6 walks. Now I'm not expecting him to do that, but he plays Baltimore today. He's going to get 2. He's going to go once against Baltimore and most likely a second time against Detroit next weekend or this weekend.
Yeah, that's a nice matchup.
Dude, you can't beat that. If you even they're saying it's most likely going to be a 6-man rotation. So a lot of Yankee pitchers are getting bumped this week. So if you had guys, I had it in front of me, but if you have guys that Corey Kluber, if you have Corey Kluber, he's no longer going twice. And there was Domingo Herman, which hurts me because I've got quite a few shares of Herman.
And that hurts me with Kluber because I expected a lot more out of him. Wow.
But he's only going to go once, and I think Kluber will go Wednesday, which means you will get him for 2 times the following week.
Yeah.
But I think, man, I'll tell you what, I think Tyon is very, very close to getting DFA'd. He has been absolute garbage. Man, I'll tell you one guy's pissing me off is Mike Yastrzemski. Dude, that guy is garbage.
Yeah. He started out hot and he just has fallen into.
I'm hoping what's happening, it's just the cold weather. And when it starts to warm up, he'll start playing better. He's hitting 215 right now. He does have 4 home runs and 6, but only 6 RBI. I mean, that's killing me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to drop him, but I'm not going to be one of these knuckleheads that has 9 guys on my batting bench. So something's got to give here one way or the other. Got a possible trade working with another guy, but I won't talk about that. I'll talk about it if it goes through. There's no sense of bringing.
I was just going to say another guy that you might want to just kind of stash and put in your pocket because he's really impressive. Is Louis Patino from Tampa Bay. Now, granted, he only pitched like 2 3/4 innings yesterday, but he's fantastic.
The problem with him, he plays for Tampa Bay, and they love these bullpen guys like Brett Honeywell.
Yeah,
Brett Honeywell has been backing up back and forth from the alternate site 3 times already this year. And when he comes up, they only let him pitch like 2 innings.
Yeah.
He got pounded this past weekend, but he's pitched pretty well all in all. You're never going to get these guys to be any kind of worth if that's what's going on with them. Kepik had a really good day the other day. The problem is he's probably going to lose his starting position because Lance Lynn will come back. So he is, let me see here. He is available. I think a lot of people picked him up past couple of days. He's available in 43% of all leagues and had a phenomenal game yesterday. But the problem is you're probably going to get stuck with the guy that's going to be in the middle of the bullpen, even though he's got 27 strikeouts in 15 innings.
Yeah.
I was trying to add him to our rotisserie league, but because of this new goofy thing that we've got, so when we do the day game, do the pickups for the day of.
Yeah.
Long story short, you can no longer pick up a guy for tomorrow. He has to be for today. And if your guy has played in your roster, you can't drop him.
Yeah.
So you can't wait for the game to start and then drop him. And I had an even goofier situation. So that a guy on the IL that was brought up, his game was played. So I couldn't make any moves until the calendar flipped. And by that time, he was gone. I was like, well, whatever. I didn't really necessarily want him in the points leagues. I was thinking maybe rotisserie because he's putting up such great point numbers. It doesn't really matter how many innings he pitches, but in the points leagues, the problem is he's probably going to go back to the bullpen and get in. They've been doing like a middle relief deal where he comes in and pitches 2 innings. He pitches like 2 innings a week. So yeah, I don't know if that's worth the roster spot.
Yeah.
You're going to have a massive injury to that very good Chicago White Sox rotation.
Yeah.
DFS today, by the way, real quick, I was looking at the lineups. If you're looking for some DFS good plays, Devi Garcia is 7,100 today. He's going against Baltimore. We just talked about him. Shohei Ohtani is only 7,700. And if you want to what to compare that to, the highest of the highs, Urias and Burns, they're at 10-4 and 9,700. So I try to find the best bang for my buck in pitching when it comes to DFS. And then that allows me to spend some money in the outfield. We're going to do more DFS, by the way. So I'll give you a week, Doug, to get kind of up to speed, but download the DraftKings app and just be prepared to just give DFS guys you like for the day. You don't necessarily have to build a whole roster because that's going to be, a mess trying to get through in a small segment. But we're going to be doing this on Tuesdays. We'll do it on Wednesdays with Sean, and we'll probably do it on Thursdays with Joey. I think he does some DFS, and I know Matt is doing DFS baseball. So we're going to try to do this every day at this time of segment. So DFS baseball is a lot of fun. I really like the snake. If you're going to play, I really like the snake where you get to draft a guy and you don't have to worry about putting in a lineup, but a lot of people like the lineup. So we're going to do lineup talk. All right. Where are we drafting for the Raiders? So they've got picked number 17, 48, 79 and 80 and 121. So they've got 5 picks. And I'm curious where you're going. The draft is Thursday. We won't see you till next week. We'll be doing draft recaps and reactions, and some of us will be happy and some of us will be pissed off, and none of us will be right or wrong until we see them hit the field in September. But it's still fun to talk about. What are the Raiders going to do?
What I would want them to do, what they really do sometimes is beyond me, but with their 17th pick, I want them to take Tavon Jenkins, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma State. That's where they need to start. That right side of that Raiders line is weak right now with Gabe Jackson gone and with Trent Brown gone. They need to shore that up, or that offense is going to take 2 steps back this year. So that's where I'm going first.
All right, so then you got the 2nd round pick, number 48. Keep going.
We got to address free safety, so we're going with Richie Grant rather from I can't even remember where he's from. Central Florida.
Central Florida, okay.
And then going into the next round, I'm picking up a linebacker. I'm taking nobody's talked about him. I like him, Pete Werner from Ohio State. And then going into that 4th round, we're going to go get an offensive guard with Trey Smith from Tennessee. He's a special player. If he can adapt to the NFL, he could be a really great offensive guard. He reminds me of a younger, bigger Mickey Jones. If you don't know who Mickey Jones was, he was a versatile offensive lineman for the Raiders in the 80s and 90s. Probably one of the best versatile offensive guards that we ever had on the Raiders. And this kid is just like him, just bigger.
So your main concern this year is getting offensive tackle.
Yeah, offensive line and free safety. are my main concerns.
Which I really think that they've got an opportunity to score on the offensive line, because even though they're drafting 17th, this is a quarterback draft. So many teams are going after quarterback. And if the Raiders don't go after quarterback and they stay in their lane, so to speak, and go after that offensive line, I really think that they've got an ability to help that offensive line. And I think Derek Carr is a solid quarterback. He's not going to be in Canton, Ohio. Okay. But you can still win with a quarterback that's not going to be there. Hell, the Raiders won the Super Bowl with Jim Plunkett. He's not in the Hall of Fame. He should be, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. Does the one thing that I would ask is, are you convinced that they have the talent at wide receiver that they need? Because I don't see it as a big need on all these boards that I look at, but I don't think of the Las Vegas Raiders as a team that's loaded at wide receiver either. What say you?
They're not, and they could probably, I mean, we're just talking the first 4 rounds. They could probably pick up somebody maybe later on, because I think they have a 7th round pick. Maybe they could pick up somebody there. It's just so pressing and important that they fix this free safety and this offensive line need. Because if they don't fix that offensive line need, he's going to be Derek Carr's going to be on his back, or whoever's playing quarterback for them is going to be on their back most of the season. And it's not going to matter how many wide receivers you draft if the guy's running for his life all season. So you could pick up somebody later, or maybe even address it in free agency, because I think there's a few left in free agency maybe we could pick up. But we got to rebuild that offensive line, and we got to get somebody in that backfield that can cover somebody.
Is there any way in hell the Jaguars don't draft Trevor Lawrence?
If he falls and breaks his neck maybe on his way to the airport, that's about it.
Trevor Lawrence is probably already in Jacksonville, to be honest with you. I don't even know if he'll. Well, I guess he could be going to Cleveland. I guess the draft picks are going to Cleveland. Be interested to see what that looks like. It won't be as bad as it looked last year, but it won't be as good as it was in Nashville either. So I'll be curious to see what they do in Cleveland for the draft. Nashville raised the bar pretty damn high. And of course, Las Vegas got bumped. I think they get it next year.
I think so. Yes.
I'll be excited to see what Las Vegas looks like with their draft. Cleveland will be interesting. It's time to turn back time and walk off. So here we go here on another great show on the Armchair Quarterbacks on the wake in the morning of me kicking Doug's ass up and down the fantasy baseball field.
That's okay. I don't feel bad after
getting lapped. That's what I want to know.
Well, Sean feels the same way in basketball, so I'll break even for the week. It's not so bad.
Turn back time. All right, here on Turn Back Time on this date in 1931 at Griffith Stadium, Washington's Griffith Stadium. So 70 years ago. No, I'm sorry, 90 years ago. Excuse me. Lou Gehrig smashes an apparent home run over the fence, but when the ball bounces back to center field, Harry Rice, base runner Lynn Larry, who thinks the fly ball is the third out, returns to the dugout without crossing home plate. Yankees first baseman Gehrig, trotting around the bases with his head down in the usual modest manner, is ruled out for passing the runner, created only by a triple. A side note, Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth would finish the season tied at home runs because of that blunder, base running blunder. If that was during the postseason, it would have been, it'd be part of of Major League Baseball lore, but no one really. It's just a footnote now because it happened in April. Birthdays. You're gonna know this one.
It's your birthday today.
Happy. Wow, 45. Happy 66th birthday to Mr. Mike Scott, 3-time All-Star for the Houston Astros. When I say Mike Scott, what do you think of?
I don't know what I think of. You tell me. I'm sorry. I just drew a blank.
Well, I'll tell you what I remember of Mike Scott. There's the infamous Game 6 of the National League Championship Series in 1986, Mets and Astros. And that game went to extra innings. The Mets won. It was an incredible game, but Mike Scott was on the mound that day. And I remember watching that game as a kid because I didn't think there was any way in hell New York was going to win that game. I thought we were going to go 7 games. And they got knocked out. That was the year that Mike Scott won the Cy Young Award. He also won the National League Championship Series MVP, even though they did not win the National Championship Series. The Mets go to the World Series, but Mike Scott gets the MVP. That would never happen in today. There would be all kind of outrage. You got to give it to the winner. They no longer give it to the most outstanding performance. They always now give it to the best player or the best performance of the team that won.
That's right.
And there's something to be said for that. I don't hate that, but it's just I've noticed it over the years how it's changed. They used to always give it to the best player during a series. They used to always give the MVP to the best player. Now they want to give it to one of the best players going to the postseason. It's all become about winning and whatnot. Yeah. And Mike Scott in 86, that was before, ESPN really got a hold of our lives. People watched the games and, ESPN was around, but ESPN didn't really start turning the screws on that narrative until the mid 90s. What's your walk-off for the day, sir?
Well, with the theme of the draft and the Raiders, a little sad news this morning. Mike Davis, great defensive back for the Raiders, passed away this morning. I was going
to say that actually happened yesterday, but I
thought
I
they
saw
were reporting it this morning.
I saw it, and you're the first person I thought of.
Yep, and he is an unsung hero. He was a 12th round draft pick in 1977, and he came in, was probably one of the last I think one of the best kind of backup all around defensive backs they had. But in passing, he's the reason that we have 2 out of 3 of our Super Bowls. If he doesn't intercept the ball with Cleveland down at the 6-yard line, saves the game against Cleveland in 1980, we don't go to Super Bowl 15 and win. And also, he had 2 interceptions against Seattle in the 83 AFC title game. Reason we go on to beat the Redskins in Super Bowl 18. So not bad for a 12th round draft pick.
Brian Sipe was the guy that threw that ball, wasn't he?
Yep, he threw that interception. He was trying to throw it to Ozzie Newsome in the corner, and he comes right in front and snatches it right out of the hands of Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, but Brian Sipe, every time I've thought of Brian Sipe, and I know he's infamously from the Browns, but people don't realize Brian Sipe played football in Jacksonville professionally. He was the starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Bulls in year number 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But he famously, I think that was the year of Cleveland where they were known as the Cardiac Kids.
Yep.
I think that's what it was, because he was trying to find image for your guy here. I've seen God. See, you put Mike Davis in,
you get a lot of names.
Well, the first thing you get is the freaking the running back.
Yeah.
which is just ridiculous. Okay. I have found it. And this is what we'll end the show with. My walk-off for the day is, well, that is a small-ass picture. What the hell is wrong with you, Google? Google! You're killing me, Google. Okay, whatever. We'll just do it as we do it. Crap. You know, you go to try to find a picture to end the show and try to do the right thing by these people. And instead, you don't get a damn picture at all. You get, all right, to hell with it. I guess we're just never going to win this one. So there you go with that. All right. We'll just give Mike Davis the. All right. This way, I'd never do more than one thing at once, but you know, it is what it is. Okay. We'll see you, Doug. Good luck. You'll need it this week against me. And no, I don't want this newsletter. Freaking stupid. This is the Raiders. Stupid Raiders.
Yeah.
You can't trust the Raiders.
No.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get